Well, we're here in Las Vegas right now, T-Mobile Arena, and this is not the conversation I thought we would be having, but the Pac-12 has suspended and canceled not only the Pac-12 men's basketball tournament, but all spring sports moving forward for the foreseeable future. Larry Scott, the commissioner of the Pac-12 Conference, is with me. Take me through this decision, because we have now seen the NBA suspend their season, not to mention some of the other Power 5 conferences put a halt to their tournaments.
Yeah, well, we've been dealing with a rapidly escalating series of events since yesterday, when we reluctantly made the decision to have limited access to fans for the events, and that was based on the available information at the time from health authorities, consultation with our schools. It was just late yesterday afternoon that I had a call with all 12 of our university presidents and chancellors where we made that decision. But since then, we've been monitoring very closely what's going on in the rest of the sports world, in Europe, here in the United States, the NBA situation. I was on the phone from before 7 a.m. this morning with Mark Emmert, the president of the NCAA, my peers in other conferences, and monitoring what other governments and health officials were saying. And it became clear that we needed to take the next step. And out of an abundance of caution for the safety and welfare and the health of our student athletes and the travel involved with all that, reluctantly we came to this next conclusion that we should halt for the moment competition and until the situation becomes a little bit more clear, and not just for our basketball players but really for all student athletes, to not have them have to travel or compete. And there's also a feeling of responsibility as members of society and our universities, as thought leaders and all the populations they deal with, to contribute to kind of the social welfare of flattening the curve on the spread of the virus. But particularly our highest care has to be for our student athletes, and that's how we reluctantly came to this decision, which we know is really hard for the student athletes, especially the seniors. These are moments they've looked forward to and worked hard for their whole life. So no one came to these decisions lightly.
In a less than 24-hour span, the NCAA saying, hey, no fans. Yesterday, you and I had a conversation. We didn't expect fans, because the reality is here at T-Mobile, we weren't going to allow fans to be able to watch this tournament. There's no crystal ball. This is a fluid situation. It's changed dramatically over the last 24 hours. But you and the other commissioners from some of the other conferences, what are the conversations that are happening right now with regard to the next steps and looking down the road at what potentially could happen?
So there's a lot of implications, and we haven't had a chance candidly to think through every detail. We've got teams as we speak at the indoor track and field championship and NCAA championship. We're supposed to have our gymnastics championship next weekend. We've got spring football, all that. So we've gone so far as to say that, we're canceling our championships. The NCAA will have to figure out, what they do with NCAA championships, and we're not going to have Pac-12 sporting competitions at the moment. What the next series of decisions, what do our campuses do in terms of practice and other student activities that are going on there? And we have an ongoing discussion about recruiting and whether recruiting activities should be postponed or halted. So there are layers of decisions that still have to be made, but there was some real timing involved and pressure to decide right away to not put student athletes on the court today for basketball, after we saw what unfolded across the country yesterday with the NBA and other sports.
Well, we'll continue to update everyone, and of course, from a Pac-12 perspective, you can follow us on our social platforms for the latest information. But once again, Larry, we all know that this is a fluid situation.